From the beautiful Finger Lakes region of upstate New York, this is the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. We take questions from anyone in the dental profession and discuss what it takes to win not only in dentistry, but in life. Business, leadership, relationships, parenting, health and wellness, money management, nothing is off limits on the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. I'm Jason Tenori, your host, and have over 20 years of experience to pull from. Learn from my mistakes and let me help you collapse time so you can become the best version of yourself. Yo, welcome back. Dr. Jason here, Dental Lighthouse Podcast. And I am recording remotely today. Some of you guys know that follow us on Facebook. My wife and I are in Italy for the last week or so, and we're celebrating her 50th birthday. And I just have some thoughts that I want to share with you guys. I have lots of thoughts that I want to share with you guys that were confirmed over this trip. And I'll probably share them over a few episodes. But the first one I want to share has to do with time blocking, phone use, and how I think we get into this habit that we have to be constantly getting back to people, checking email, checking Slack, whatever communication platform you use at work. And you don't know what you don't know. And this week has again confirmed the fact that sometimes we do things that we think are correct or in the best interest of everyone around us, when in reality they're not. So let me unpack that for you guys, specifically when it comes to quote unquote staying connected, right? So I'm going to give you the older version of Jason. The older version of Jason prided, is that even a word? Prided himself on my response time, or how in tune or connected I could stay with my team at work, or with doctors that I was in the process of courting, or bankers, realtors, business deals, stuff like this, right? So I would have everything possible on my phone. I would have email, I would have Slack, I would have WhatsApp, I would have GroupMe. You could reach me whenever you wanted, however you wanted. And I was the guy that was going to be quote unquote present and get back to you ASAP. About, it's 5 years ago now, maybe less. I don't know. I was blessed, Kara and I were blessed to be invited to Croatia with Dr. Mark Costas and a bunch of black belt coaches from DSI, amongst some other people. And as you guys know, my listeners that are in the United States, Croatia's on the other side of the world. So when I was on the other side of the world, it was really, really hard to quote unquote stay connected, because when I was awake, everyone was sleeping and vice versa. So I took it upon myself during that 7, 8, 9, 10 days in Croatia. I can't remember when it was, where I would wake up in the morning, let's say 7 o'clock. I would have coffee, breakfast. I would open my computer, and over the next 45 minutes to an hour, I would respond to every email. I would respond to every Slack message from work. I would respond to every text messages, all of these messages, all of these inquiries, all of these communications that were sent to me. And I didn't really realize it at the time, or I was ignorant at the time, but what I was basically doing was batching. And you guys have heard me talk about batching. I have a blog about batching. You can go to the downlighthouse.com and read about it. But what I was basically doing is batching. So I was putting all of my time, attention, and focus into responding to messages. And I was able to do it in a very short period of time, 30 to 60 minutes, depending on the volume. And I was able to do it in 30 to 60 minutes because I was present, I was focused, I was not distracted, I wasn't task switching. People talk about what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even do it anymore, but multitasking, right? So, as you guys have heard me talk about before, there's no such thing as multitasking. It's a fallacy. This has been proven in research. Don't take my word for it. You can go ahead and Google it. There's no such thing as multitasking. It's only task switching. So when you task switch, you basically take your focus, your attention off of one task and you put it onto another. And research has shown that there's a concept called attention residue, um, where you can't leave one task and go into another one, um, like in a split second. It actually takes you minutes, sometimes 10, 15 minutes to leave one task and get completely refocused, re-energized on that second task to get into the flow of that second task. And when you do this constant task switching and you accumulate this attention residue, you're wasting tons of time throughout your day. And we don't realize it because we think we're being productive, but the reality is we're not. But it took me this time in Croatia to really realize this, right? So going back to the story, I would wake up every morning and I would respond to emails, text messages, Slack messages, WhatsApp, GroupMe, all of these things. And I would literally be done in 30, 45 minutes. And I didn't wait for responses because everyone was sleeping. So I would close my computer, I would put away my phone, and I would just be super present with Kara and the group that we were with in Croatia for the rest of the day. I had no even desire to pick up my computer or pick up my phone because I knew deep down that there was nothing there for me to check. Again, because everyone that I was responding to was sleeping. And I did this every morning for the 7, 8, 9 days. I forget how long we were there. And it just really blew my mind that I could stay so present with my family and my friends and not be on my phone and not be on my computer. Um, and when I needed to be on my phone and my computer, because I was batching it, I was doing it in a very short period of time, and my full attention and focus was on those messages. The first couple days, it was hard because in the back of my mind, I was like, well, what if I'm missing something? But the following morning, when I would open up my computer or I would open up my phone, and I would come to the realization that there was no fire to put out. There was no, oh my God, priority. There was simply a correspondence between two parties that was easily managed through me communicating once a day. Um, and that was the start of the realization for me that maybe me personally and us as a society is just too damn addicted to being connected. So that was a jumping off point for me to really start to embrace the idea of putting down the phone, closing the computer, um, and not utilizing it for hours at a time. And when I did need to utilize it, I would have time block to specifically and focus on that communication as opposed to what it used to be is I'm at dinner and I'll pick up my phone every 5 minutes, or I'm at the park with the kids and every 10 or 15 minutes I'll grab my phone to make sure I didn't miss an email or make sure I didn't miss a Slack message or a Facebook message or something like that. Now, again, I'm not suggesting that this is you, but this was me. And this lie that I was telling myself that I was quote unquote staying connected to the people that needed me was in reality me not being present for the people that truly needed me. Um, my wife, Kara, my kids, my friends. I mean, I would be out with a few of my boys. And when I say boys, I mean some of my adult friends having beers, watching a game, maybe playing euchre. And I'm picking up my phone every 10 or 15 minutes to check Facebook or to check Slack at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Like, what am I doing? But in the moment, I was addicted. I had a habit of doing it and I had to break that habit. So what am I saying here? What did I do? And again, this is what I did. I'm not suggesting that you have to do this, but I would ask you to consider it. Um, First, come to the realization that you don't need to be nearly as connected as you think you need to be. The reality is, you're not that important. And I'm saying this to myself, but I want you guys to understand that if it's good enough for me, it's most likely good enough for you. You're not that important. I'm not that important. You don't need to respond to things minutes later, even within the hour, right? Dedicate blocks of time. For me, it was once a day. For you, as you're transitioning, considering transitioning away from constant phone use, perhaps it's twice a day, perhaps it's three times a day, but have blocks of time dedicated to email, social media, Slack, messaging, all of that stuff. I've gotten to the point where it's during weekdays, it's twice a day. It's a half hour in the morning and it's a half hour at night. And then I've gotten to the point where on weekends, it's once a day. Consider something like that in an effort to help you develop this habit and not um, get pulled back into this old behavior. The classic example is if you're an alcoholic, you wouldn't have Tito's in the kitchen. If you're constantly tempted by overeating and you're trying to lose weight, you wouldn't have a bunch of highly processed snacks in your pantry. So if you do feel like this is something that you would like to consider, perhaps, and I know this is going to be like, oh my gosh, I couldn't do this moment, take all of these things off of your phone. So I no longer have email on my phone. I have no social media on my phone. Um, the only thing I really have on my phone is text messages because I couldn't figure out a way to take that off. Um, and podcasts. I have some YouTube on there and I have Google Maps. Everything else is pretty much gone. There's really no other way for me to be distracted via my phone. And again, the first week or two, it was really, really hard. I would find myself putting my hand into my pocket and reaching for my phone just based out of habit. But once you get to the point where you're disciplined to have time blocks throughout your day, again, maybe once a day, maybe twice a day, maybe three times a day to start off, to respond to all of these messages, you start to develop the habit that you don't need to reach for your phone every 10, 15, 20 minutes. And what do you now do with this newfound time? You're actually present with the people that love you, with the people that care about you. And if you don't have anyone around, you just sit and you think, or you go for a walk and you think, you brainstorm, you allow ideas to flow into your mind, you process things, you have conversations with yourself about opportunities that are in front of you or ways that you can show your love and affection for your wife or your kids or your team. You're not doom scrolling on Instagram, um, checking out how other people are living. It's just, and again, no judgment if this is where you're at, because this is where I was at. Um, but I'm encouraging you to at least consider the idea of taking these things off of your phone, checking in once, twice, three times a day on your computer. We're at a point now where I can respond to text messages from my computer. I can obviously respond to emails from my computer. I can respond to Facebook. I can even scroll Instagram from my computer. So I have blocks of time where I'm doing that now. So I don't have all of those things on my phone. And this newfound time, this newfound attention that I have because I'm not reaching into my pocket every 10 to 15 minutes to see some type of um, reel on Instagram about uh, bodybuilding or deadlifting or the next great dental secret to grow your organization. What am I doing with that newfound time? All of the things that are really, really important in life. No one's going to be laying on their deathbed when you're 100 years old and saying, I wish I doom scrolled on Instagram more. You're going to say, man, I wish I would have not been so addicted to my phone and been that much more present for my wife or for my kids or for my friends. Or I wish I could have taken a walk without my phone and actually just thought about things. Like brainstorm things, be present in my own mind as opposed to other inputs from my phone flying into my head. So that's what I'm asking you to consider. Try it for a week. Take all of that shit off your phone. Have designated times where you can check in. Again, for me on weekdays, it's once in the morning and once in the afternoon. I'm sorry, for right before I go home for work. On the weekends, it's typically once. A couple other quick strategies to consider. If this is something that you absolutely cannot consider, right? And no judgment. But if this concept is so unrealistic for you, two other things to consider. One would be at the end of the day, when you're pulling into your driveway and you're about to walk into the house and have dinner with your family or get ready to go to that practice or baseball game or what have you for your kids, consider leaving your phone and your computer in your car or in your truck and leave it in the car or truck until the kids go to bed. So I roll home around 4:30 or so, and my phone and my computer stay in my car and truck. And when they're out of sight, out of mind, I can be fully present for dinner. I can be fully present when they're telling me about their day. Even if, excuse me, even if I had it off, but it's in the house. And again, this is my own lived experience. Someone would be talking to me. My son would be talking to me. My wife would be talking to me. And I would be thinking about picking up my phone because it was available in the house. Real, this is real. And there's iPhone. You can Google iPhone studies that talked about when people were out to dinner, if the phone was on the table, they weren't truly actively, empathetically listening to the people they were having meals with because they were tempted to pick up their phone. So consider keeping if you're not going to take all of this crap off of your phone, consider leaving your phone and your computer in the car, in the truck when you get home from work. And I would ask you to ideally not pick it up till the following morning when you get back in your car or truck. Um, but baby steps here, right? Perhaps consider not grabbing it until, if you have young kids, until you put them to bed or if you need to check in right before bed, something like that. Not a great practice, not something I would consider. Um, but if you absolutely can't take all of that stuff off of your phone, then this would be something to consider. The other thing to consider is this sweet technology called Brick. I'm not I don't get a commission from Brick, but it's something that I've been using. I can have Kenzie maybe put a link to this quote unquote technology um, in the show note description. But it's literally a little 3D printed brick. It's maybe 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. You download an app for your phone. So this is if you don't want to take all of these things off of your phone, but you're open to the idea of completely shutting off access to them for a period of time. So basically, what you do is you buy this thing called a brick. I think it's like $30. It's 3D printed. They tell you right on the thing. It's like costs us nothing to make. It's maybe 30 or $40. And then a couple days later, you get this thing in the mail and you download the app to your phone. And you can literally open up the app and say, I want to brick my phone. You brick it. That's just the term that they use. And when you do that, all of your social media, whatever you choose, but you would put all of the social media, all the email, all the messaging stuff underneath this brick app, and it all becomes non-usable for as long as the phone is bricked. And you can't unbrick your phone unless you open up the brick app and you tap the brick um, that's wherever you put it, right? So, for example, you could put a brick in your office, let's say, your home office. You could open up your phone and say, look, I want to be really present with my family until noon, and then I'm going to check in at noon. So you would brick your phone, you would run errands with your family, you would be present for breakfast, you would go for a walk, and you could take your phone with you, but you would not have access to any of those social media or communication platforms because you've bricked your phone. And then when you get home, you would go to your office, you would open up the brick app and you would actually tap on the 3D printed brick that they mailed you, and that would unlock your phone. It's a really cool way to keep all of that stuff on your phone, but not have access to it. Again, what I would encourage you to do is eventually take all of that stuff off your phone anyways, because you can access it on your computer. But if you're not quite there yet, then the brick technology, the brick app is pretty sweet and something for you to consider. So appreciate you being open to this concept, guys. Appreciate you listening to some how can I word this? Some things that I've learned over the last 5 years or so that I wish I would have learned when I was in my 30s. Did not learn them until I was in my 40s. I'm turning 50 this year. And if you could glean a little bit of um, this wisdom into your own life, I think I can help you fold time um, and get to the point where I was in my mid 40s, perhaps significantly earlier in your life. So that's all, guys. Again, hello and goodbye from Sorrento, Italy. It's been an amazing trip celebrating Kara's 50th birthday. So glad we did it. If you guys are considering going to Italy, reach out. I can tell you the do's and don'ts of what we've learned. And then again, please go to the website, thedentallighthouse.com. Have a pretty detailed blog post on there about creating the perfect ideal week. I just think it's so important. And part of that ideal week would be blocking time to be present for those communications, to responding to those communications. It takes so little time to do it once you're truly focused, and it will create so much more time for you throughout the day because you're not constantly checking in, constantly dealing with task switching, constantly dealing with attention residue. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. That wraps up another episode of the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. You have a choice today. Choose to be a lighthouse. Lighthouses are powerful and steadfast. They are beacons of light for others to reference when life gets turbulent. Go out into the world today and become a lighthouse for someone. Give more than you get. True joy comes from serving others. Start today. I'm Jason Tenori, your host. Thank you for listening to the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. For more information, podcast show notes, or links to anything that we have discussed today, please check out our website, thedentallighthouse.com. We would love to hear from you. If you would like to get on the show, please email us at podcast@thedentallighthouse.com.